Ladies and gentlemen, on that wonderful note, let's march ahead to our next segment of the program. And this is the opportunity that we'd like to utilize for the release of the book titled Architecture for Modern India. We'd like to invite, firstly, Mr. Ram, who's the Managing Director, CCBA, and also the editor of this book, to firstly take us through the journey in terms of the making of this book. And ladies and gentlemen, so let's invite on stage Mr. Ram as he shares the details about the book titled Architecture for Modern India. Let's have a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, dear friends. Thank you, Kavya. And a special thanks to Sapna for inviting us over here. Do I need to press this one towards this side? Excuse me. Yeah, I'm trying to do that. Okay. Thank you. From the time Thames and Hudson in 1996 published a book on the works of Charles Fourier, we have witnessed very few books that contributed to the collection of literature on or about architecture in India. And if one has to reflect, not more than 20 books were published. I think it's not moving. I don't know. If one has to reflect, not more than 20 books were published since independence on the state of architecture and urbanism in India. And 20 years later, Christopher Benninger, Architecture for Modern India, published by Schira Rizzoli from Milan and New York, has set a journey to significantly contribute to the practice of architecture. The book was recently released in Manhattan and at the hands of Professor Kenneth Frampton, arguably the most important theorist of architecture at our times. We have witnessed Letters to Young Architect topping the best-selling non-fiction books chart for about 18 weeks. 5 years back, when this book was launched, we pioneered the multi-city launch so that this reach-out program would allow the book to be available to the remotest corners of the country. Many times a book is released in one of the metro cities and then the rest of the country is unaware of its existence. Every student and architect came to know about this particular book. This led to inquiries of being translated into other languages. Today the book has been published widely and translated into Malayalam, Tamil, Bengali, Hindi, Arabic, apart from being already translated into Chinese and Gujarati. I don't know, I think it's somebody who can run it. Yeah, it's not able to see. Okay, fine. I think this probably is, I need to put the signal somewhere. The book sold more than 17,000 copies over the 4 print runs and addressing contemporary issues on education of architecture, urbanism, and the practice of architecture in our part of the world. This book couldn't have been popular without the well-wishers and supporters in the fraternity of architecture, as well as the people who supported architecture in one way or the other. It is time once again for us to come together to celebrate the birth of this new book, Architecture for Modern India. As you know, no celebration is complete without having the support of friends and family. Be it a birth of a child or a marriage, we all like to share and it's never in isolation. Our friends and professional colleagues, fellows at work, and stakeholders have directly or indirectly supported us in various capacities, and it's at various times in what we are today. Let me take you through the journey of making of this book. We at CCBA, the Christopher Charles Benninger Architects, document our projects thoroughly. The book happened very quickly. It just took us only 3 months to put the book together. Our team in the office, Sundar leading the design layout, composed the book. Associate architect Deepak Kao took several photographs, adding to the collection of photographs that I was taking over the last 20 years. In 3 months, we were able to freshly write all the content to suit the format of the book. Re-photographed some of the projects that were old, did layout, and handed over to the publishers Schira in Milan and Rizzoli in New York. We were also lucky to have goodwill of Fumihiko Maki, Pritzker Prize winner, and a master architect from Japan, who taught Benninger at Harvard University, along with Suha Ozkan from Turkey, who ran very successfully the Aga Khan Awards program for the last 20 years, along with Liane Lefebvre from Vienna, who jumped into the opportunity to contribute their essays, as they found there was a right reason for them to voice their opinions on the theory and practice of architecture in our part of the world, which is growing fast. Professor Liane Lefebvre specifically made her arguments of the shift from the West and Northern Hemisphere to the global South and East, where 3/4 of the world's population lives. Resides, and how Benninger was pioneering in social architecture way back in the early 70s that was more relevant than the upside down buildings that we see in the name of iconic architecture in Europe and America. Suha Ozkan mentions in his essays how Benninger stuck on to his social commitment and searched for cultural identities both in India and in Bhutan while designing the projects, as against mimicking aimlessly some imagery from the Western world as suitable solutions to our projects. Maki-san categorically refers to how Benninger has married the serendipity of people's joys and sorrows with the journeys that one takes using spaces, thereby influencing their own journey that we all share. Very profound observation indeed. With such good wills and wishes, the book started its journey. This large format monograph traces architectural practice through Benninger's work over the past 5 decades of economic transformation and social change. Benninger's experiences begin in the socialist closed economic era when India was a rural society. It blends into the present free market, urban society of the world's largest global economy. Each of Benninger's creations, whether in urban planning or architecture, is a benchmark of India's evolving character and persona. This book has about 400 pages, about 800 color photographs, several hundred drawings and text supporting each and every project to serve the purpose of education to students and to those who practice. For those who are new to the subject of architecture, it's a visual treat and a medium of understanding good architecture. Every project begins with a location map to understand the context and urban pattern of the location, with a central image like this one in Kochi Refineries project, where it is important to understand the relevance of backwaters and the salubrious surroundings, yet managing the humid climate using shading devices like the louvers. In this page, as you can see, College of Engineering, Girls Hostel building, celebrates the honest expression of form-finished coffered ceiling used extensively supported by isometric plans in the next page of the building. In the subsequent pages, there was a breakaway from the heaviness of concrete to mimic the ocean ships that seamlessly float over the waters, as seen in the wavy north facade of the administrative building of the Samudra Institute of Maritime Studies at Lonavala, supported by the study models that went into the making of these projects real. I must also thank my model maker, Mr. Krishnaji, at this point, and his partner for helping us to envision what we were able to build. In the next section, we went on out of the box to make factories equally more beautiful by using modern metal jalis to subdue the mechanical nature of factories in Forbes Marshall Greenfield factory, as seen over here in Chakan. That allowed to be qualified as one of the top places for work, competing with other corporate offices. The book also takes one through the journey, what all goes as studies, as background studies and the changes in master planning for the Ajim Premji University, as seen over here, which is in Bangalore, to show the evolution of an institution. As this section demonstrates the unique idea of comparing one footprint with another to understand the scale of each and every project the book takes in, supported by graphical representation of the facades that converge and depart from each other at the same time. The last but the most important aspect of this book is the inclusion of these kind of double spreads, which probably for the first time we tried out in architecture, and they have come out very well. So friends, this book is not just a visual treat, but in the world of bookmaking, it has set some benchmarks, and we are happy to share with you the joy today. We recognize this book must travel the entire country and overseas, and that made it relevant to us to bring this book to the forgotten rural parts of Maharashtra like Udgir, where statesmen like Shivraj Patilji took no time to inaugurate it in a hospital that his family was running, amongst many other important works that he had. As you know, Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Mr. Shri Chandrababu Naidu ji, as much as he is a visionary, took no time to endorse the book, realizing what will build his new capital at Amravati is nothing but architecture. Such is the great role of architecture in building our country now. Until recently, before his portfolio changed, Honorable Minister of Urban Development, Shri Venkaiah Naidu, as you can see, has greatly emphasized the importance of urbanization in the current administration. The former Prime Minister of Bhutan, Jigme, and the proponent of gross national happiness, Limpo Jigme Thinley, took no time to make his claim that this book should be an ambassador to taking the modern architecture of his country, Bhutan, to the rest of the world. Several exponents of the world of architecture, Pritzker Prize winners like Toyo Ito from Tokyo, Peter Cook from London, Kerry Hill from Singapore, Woha Architects from Singapore, Maki from Tokyo, Richard Rogers from London, and our own Doshi ji and Rajiv Khatpalia ji found themselves visiting the pages of this book. One of the senior-most architects of India, Bruno D'Souza from Goa, took no time in getting in at the age of 92 to release this book. Peter Rich from South Africa, along with Divya Kush, the current president of Indian Institute of Architects, accommodated his this book as part of the IIA annual awards in Calicut a few months back. As I conclude, this newborn has got the blessings from the near and dear and wishes to travel its own journey now. As I always say, friends, architecture is a teamwork. It's collaborative, creative, and communicative at the same time. This book has memories of our team from 20 years back to the memories of those who are with us now. We have grown with them, we have laughed with them, and we have shared our sorrows together. What could be a great way of immortalizing all those feelings together? This book is a testament to a great journey we took 20 years back, along with the person who made India his home. And in his journey lies our sub-journeys, our learnings, our emotions, and our triumphs. Yes, this is a celebration of teamwork. Thank you very much. Kavya, on to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ram. Well, yes, indeed, they often say that the soul of a civilization lies in its architecture. So on that note, let's go ahead for the release of this book after hearing out the exciting details about the book. So firstly, for the release of the book, I'd like to invite the following people to please come on stage. I'd like to firstly invite architect Christopher Benninger to please come forward. May I further invite Mr. Anurag Batra, our honorable chief guest, Mr. Shekhar Dutt. And may I further invite Mr. Abdullah Al-Abduli to please join our dignitaries on the stage for the release of this fantastic book. Absolutely. May I also please invite Shri Niranjan Hiranandani to please come on stage. All right there. Well, I'm going to request everyone to please remain on the stage as well. I'm going to request you all dignitaries to kindly remain on the stage. We'd also like to utilize the opportunity. No, sir, Mr. Batra, you'll also have to remain as well on the stage because it's now time to utilize the opportunity as well for the unveiling of the cover of the Realty Plus forthcoming coffee table book titled India's Top 100 Developers 2016, the second edition. I'd also like to request Mr. Sudhir Nair, the director and for Crystal Real Estate Ratings, to please join our dignitaries. May I further invite Ms. Konkana Bakshi as well to please come forward on the stage for the unveiling of the cover of the Realty Plus forthcoming coffee table book, India's Top 100 Developers 2016, the second edition. Let's have these covers distributed as well. Ladies and gentlemen, the book, in association with CRISIL, will identify the 100 developers across India who have delivered significant volumes of projects in the last 5 years and are likely to deliver the large volumes of projects in the next 2 years. Thank you very much indeed. I request our dignitaries to kindly take their seats. May I please inform our members of the audience that what we have unveiled to all of you today was the cover of the Realty Plus forthcoming coffee table book titled India's Top 100 Developers 2016, the second edition. We'd also like to inform that the nominations are still on, and those present here, in fact, those who are interested to register, may do so by contacting our registration desk. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of another exciting segment of the program. And on that note, it's time to march ahead. And they often say that leaders are the ones who know the way, go the way, and show the way. And this evening, we have the august presence of the Tsar of the Indian real estate industry, a pioneer himself. So please put your hands together to welcome on stage the Managing Director of Hiranandani Group, Shri Niranjan Hiranandani.
Thank you very much for inviting me for this wonderful function, which I've been attending from year to year. And I think I see it growing so beautifully that I want to wish them, Realty Plus, a wonderful new year. And of course, we have some cars. I'm grateful to Christopher Bininger for giving me the book because I was looking forward to it. And somebody said I can even pick up one of those 2 cars. So maybe, that's a bonus which is going to be added on. I can only give flats, you see, so it's a different story. Mr. Batra, I think, set a new tone as far as this country is concerned. And he's a very, very important person because he gives us the direction of what business